rims is definitely a task most people don't look forward to doing, but it is certainly an essential skill. So watch this video and learn how to get it done so that you have a strong bond that looks good and most importantly won't come undone at the worst possible time. The first step in gluing tires is actually some prep work or cleaning to the tires. What you want to use is some rubbing alcohol. You can get this at any pharmacy or grocery store. And you want to remove any leftover release agent from the molding process. There's usually nothing visible on the rims, but it's a good idea just to clean them too. Now the next thing I do is I open up the vent holes on the rims. There's a lot of debate about whether to vent the tires or rims. I recommend venting the rims, enlarging the hole to about twice the size it comes. So if it's about 1 millimeter, open it up to 2 or 3 millimeters. You really won't have any ill effects from making it too large. And then when you go to wash the rim, to keep water from getting inside, you could easily put a sticker, a small sticker or decal material over the hole, and your rim will be completely sealed. You could wash it without fear of soaking the insert inside. And you can vent the rim with a drill bit and a drill. I just use a body reamer. If you want to vent the tire instead, which is popular with some of the racers, again, I don't advise it, but a good tool to use is one of these inexpensive leather punches. This costs about $5. I got it at a hardware store. Now the next step is I'm just going to test fit the tires and rims. These are Proline Suburb tires that I'm mounting up for some indoor racing. And I'm using the included molded foam inserts. Normally I wouldn't use these inserts for the outdoor tracks in my area because they tend to be a little bit rougher and the surface is inconsistent. But indoors, these are definitely the inserts to use. You could get away with running a really firm insert like these. These aren't actually that firm, but I tend to run a pretty soft insert outdoors. You'll notice that Proline and a few other brands include an additional foam ring. This is for the older style rim that had a bigger step, and this would fill up the gap. You don't need it on these, you just use the single included foam. After I get the tires seated on the bead to my satisfaction, I'll take a rubber band, sometimes I'll double it up. Often I'll double up the rubber band on the outside because this bead on short course tires is sometimes pretty difficult to get to stay in place. Move the rubber band over. So now I have a tire mounted on the rim, ready to be glued. The tire and rim have been cleaned. The rim's been vented. Even though it came with original vent holes, I've increased the size of the vent holes. And now I'm ready to glue after I fit rubber bands around. And I'm just going to do one side at a time. And one of the key things to do is just take your time. Use a quality glue. I'm using Track Power. This is distributed by Hobbyco Great Plains. It's one of their brands. Works good. I also recommend AKA and Losi glue. And what you want to do is you want to peel up only a small amount at a time. Don't try to expose the entire bead. Peel back the tire. Put a couple drops in. And quickly reseat the tire and the bead. And after you glue here, you want to glue the opposite side, work somewhat in a star pattern, go up here, down here. The glue will get dispersed, and after it's had a chance to dry, you go check for any spots that need to be touched up with some glue, and you should be good. After you do the fronts of both tires, or all four if you're doing four, you could flip them over and do the backs. And again, take your time, don't rush it, and just work in a star pattern using small sections at a time. One of the last steps I'll do, put a couple drops in this spread. And it's highly recommended to use rubber bands to hold the tire in place while you're gluing. You'll get a much better bead where the tire meets the rim. If you're gluing large monster truck tires or truggy tires and you don't have rubber bands that will fit, one of the old tricks is you could wrap electrical tape around the tire and squeeze it to the rim. That trick works excellent, and it's really one of the only ways to get it done on the bigger tires. And again, I don't want the tire perfectly seated so much for looks, but when it's perfectly seated and there aren't big gaps, it'll stay glued much better, but also the tire, the finished product, will be much more in balance. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Some of the key steps were use rubber bands to hold the tires in place. If the tires are too large for rubber bands, use electrical tape or something similar. Use a high quality, hobby specific glue. This track power glue that I've been trying lately seems to work really well. Also, I've had great luck with AKA and Losi brand glues. Clean the tires and make sure you vent the rims. I prefer venting the rims because when I go to clean the tires, I can cover the holes with a sticker, and I can use a lot of water and simple green to clean the tires without risk of saturating that insert on the inside.